What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life BBQ podcast. I'm Johnny Maggs. It's Monday night, 8 o'clock. This is the show where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other topics that you'd normally talk around the pit. We're coming to you live, as always, from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios in Center Bonstead, New Hampshire. Uncle Steve's seasonings are some of the best around, made of the finest ingredients, from the original to the Gator Shake to the competition line. Don't forget his, if you're watching right there, the sauce with no name. Great customer service. If you have a question, you call that number on the website, and Uncle Steve is going to be the one who answers. And he'll answer any shake questions you need. So check him out at UncleSteveShake.com, and also follow him on Facebook at Uncle Steve Shake Nation for all your shake updates and information and specials he's running. But we're gonna have a great show tonight. Let's see who's in here. Randy, what's up? Mrs. Maggs with hello again, even though you're literally right above me, probably sitting on the couch. Chris Rosinski, what's up? Terry, what's happening? Dave LaConte, what's going on? Schmitty, what's up, brother? Calling you out. Folks, just got to take a quick second. I got a call this morning from Ryan Newland of Backline Smokers, Backline Fabrication, and we had a little bit of a conversation, and we are calling out for all of our barbecue family to keep John Brotherton in your thoughts and prayers. I'm not 100% sure of what the case is, nor is it really my place to talk about it. But John has fallen ill, serious ill, and there is a GoFundMe out there right now to support him and his family through this trying time. And back with Ryan, he asked me to ask everybody to follow him, Backline Smokers and Backline Fab, on all your social medias, along with Moberg Smokers and Syntex Smokers. They're up to something. So he asked me to have everybody follow those pages, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, and keep an eye out for an announcement. We're actually working on possibly getting all three of them on the show next Monday to talk about what they're doing. And as far as I know, they're going to be doing something to help support John and his family through everything John's got going on right now. And we all just sit and pray for a speedy, healthy recovery, and the strength for John's family to get through this trying time. So yeah, guys, if you can follow Backline Smokers, Backline Fab, Moberg Smokers, and Syntex Smokers, and keep an eye out for some notifications of what they got going on. But yeah, that was that. And let's see who else. I see Mad Max, my man. What's going on, brother? Daddy Dutch, what's happening? Uncle Steve, my man. So, guys, let's get right into it. We're going to have a great conversation, little competition barbecue, a little drum action, and custom drum builds. They are beautiful. So without any further easy for me to say, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. James Page from Patriot BBQ 903. What's up, James?
Not much, buddy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and your family, sir.
Absolutely. Into yours and prayers to everybody out there that needs it.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Amen to that. Lance, what's happening? So James, our brother Mad Max reached out to me and goes, "Hey, can you get James on and talk about the drums?" And I'm like, "Absolutely. The calendar's wide open. Let's go." The new year starts, so there's plenty. We got the calendar wide open. And like I said, I saw the drum you had built for Max and also Sean Hogan.
Right.
And they're gorgeous. They're works of art.
Thank you.
But before we get into that, let's introduce yourself. Who is James Page?
Well, I'm just a simple country guy now. I'm actually living where I grew up with my grandparents, a long time ago. So we moved back here about 25 years ago to help take care of my grandparents and just, stayed after they had passed on. Had a wonderful career with the City of Dallas Park and Recreation Department. I spent right at 34 years in the park and recreation field, working just about every division that the Parks Department had. And I finished out my career with a group called Facility Services, who are some of the best people I've worked with my entire life. Those guys do all of the mechanic work, welders, painters, carpentry, construction on there. So, it's my whole life I've always enjoyed working with my hands. So that's kind of leads in later on, to doing the drums. I've always got to be doing something with my hands. As far as the cooking aspect of it goes, I come from a pretty good sized country family. And, growing up at family reunions, we almost had to wear name tags, trying to, remember who everybody was. I still remember as a young kid down here at my great grandparents' house, for fish fries and everything. And I mean, it wasn't like we do now with the little propane, fish cookers. This was the witch's pot, over a big fire, dropping them fillets in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always the little kid that was just off the side that was like a sponge, soaking in everything that my older aunts and uncles and grandparents and everybody was doing. So that, that led to my life wanting to be a cook. So it was a lot of fun. During my time with the city on there, ended up winning 4 non-sanctioned brisket events, 1 chili competition, top 3 or 4 in homemade salsa. So it didn't matter what we were cooking. I wanted to be part of it. So that kind of boosted it up. And we also learned there with the city. I had 100 employees. And by the time you ended up with your, family and friends coming to our Christmas parties on there, we had anywhere from 150 to 200 people. And I came up with the idea, since we had a lot of good pit masters there at work, that, let's do a brisket competition. And out of our funds, we'd get a nice pellet smoker, or a little offset smoker, something like that. And, the entry was free. But our one stipulation is that if you join the brisket competition, you donated it to the party afterwards. And then the winners would get a trophy, and top 3 places got a trophy, and the winner got a trophy and a new pit on there. So we end up with anywhere from 15 to 25 briskets in there, which was more than enough for everybody to get just a great holiday lunch and take something home to the family as well.
Nice. Well, all the Texas Barbecue chapter boys are out in full effect supporting you.
Love them
We
to
got
death.
we got Joe Tucker. What's up, brother? I'll actually be Joe. I'll be actually getting in touch with you soon. Talk about the new shop. Efren, what's happening? Big Rome. Simon, what's going on? Yeah, we're good. We're good. So that's cool. Joe, I have to ask, above your, I guess it's would be your left shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a turkey mount?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, it's and oddly enough, it's my wife's.
Okay.
So that was one of the funnest days of my life. I'm blessed to have a wife that um, loves to hunt, loves to fish. On there is a phenomenal cook. She's a competitive cooker, as well on there. But most of the guys that cut up and talk about their wives getting upset when they went deer hunting. Mine would get upset if I went deer hunting and she didn't get to go. So
There you go.
yeah, she's and the same with fishing on there. My wife and myself love to fish. We live a block off the lake, so we get that opportunity to go down. But that Rio Grande turkey mount that's up there in the corner, that was her one and only turkey, and it was really a lot of fun for us both to sit in the stand and for me to call that in for her on there to take that turkey, and then we fried it for Thanksgiving that year.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Lots of fun.
Yeah, we got the old thunder chickens gobbling around here. Not lately. They're all done for the year. They took off. They're probably down in your neck of the woods right now. They said, "The hell with
Exactly.
this! I'm getting the hell out of here."
Yeah. Still on the Greyhound bus heading south.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
seeing lots of geese come in too right now.
Yeah. The migration is in full force, heading to warmer weather. Oh,
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Larry Vaughn, what's happening, brother? Um, so that was that. So obviously you've been cooking with all the family throughout the years and everything, and the different
Right.
events and everything. What made you want to throw your hat in the ring in this wonderful, insane world we call competition barbecue?
Well, I think winning some of the brisket competitions, the non-sanctioned, and like I said, the chili cook-off and stuff, I've always been very competitive on there. And I met someone that has developed into a wonderful friend to me, and that's Mr. Donnie Whitley. And Donnie and another friend of ours, Mike Reagan, actually started the Patriot BBQ team. It's been about 3 years ago now. And in their very first barbecue competition, they walked away with an ancillary win in beans. So they were pretty well hooked on there. I met Donnie. He is a contractor and owns a remodel company. And I will say right now he is a great American that I'm proud to cook with. He is a retired Army Staff Sergeant on there and did tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And this wasn't as the typical age that you would consider most Americans signing up on there. He and his oldest son signed up together, for this. So he was a little bit older than your common recruit on there. It's been his time over there. Well, when he retired, he started, like I said, the remodel business. And he was doing some work for some neighbors of friends of mine across the street. And I got to meet him and stuff. And they kind of invited me then, to join the team. And, my job at work, it was pretty intense. I ended up, 24-hour call. Never knew when I was getting called from a councilman or a park board member or somebody. So I couldn't really dedicate the time to it. Once I retired, though, and through that year, I'd stayed in touch with Donnie and our whole families grew together, as extended families. And our Texas barbecue chapter hosted a cook-off at one of the drag strips that's probably 30 minutes from the house. And Donnie talked me into coming out and cooking with me. So I went back out there and, just three rookies not knowing a whole lot about what we were doing at the time. We got in there and ended up winning chili, in our first time out as a team. So, one thing that I have learned through this wonderful competition world, it doesn't take but one call, and you're pretty much hooked. My wife, which I saw in the chat, Rome popped it up a while ago, Mystic Q, that's the name of her team, is Mystic Q.
Okay.
Her dad was a Shriner, and we were cooking a Shriner competition, and they were a couple of teams short. So the head judge came over and asked me, she said, do you have anybody that you know that you can call and would like to cook and whatever so that we can make sanction? My wife went ahead and made sanction, helped us make sanction, and we ended up with 3 or 4 other teams come in. And her first cook-off on there, never doing it before, she walked away with the 3rd place using my meat, my spices, and one of my drums on there. So was a 3rd place in ribs, and I finished less than a half a point behind her in 4th place in ribs. So ever since that day, the two of us have it's back and forth, back and forth. Donnie's wife on there, she's a big cheerleader for my wife.
Yeah.
On there. So every time we go to a cook-off, we set up one big tent. We all cook underneath it. So, my wife's got cheerleaders. Our team's got cheerleaders. So, anyway, that's kind of how we got into the competition world. This upcoming season will only be our 3rd year, competing as a team. So, with my team, it's myself, Donnie, and his brother-in-law, Teddy, on there. Teddy came on the scene, with us this year and had never cooked competitively as well, and had a 3rd place walk, in ribs in his first competition. So he's hooked on it now. Johnny, one of the biggest things that I will say about what we do cook down here, as far as Outlaw Barbecue Association, Lone Star, IBCA, is it's really great to know that all of our competitions have some type of a benefactor.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing for us. We're either cooking for a children's hospital, we're cooking for a local volunteer, fire department on there. We did one this year that was for police department canines. One of my favorite competitions that we do every year is up in McKinney at Eldorado Chevrolet. Mm-hmm. And they empty the car dealership outside, and we all go in there and cook. And it's for Guns and Hoses, which is fallen police officers and firefighters, here in the Texas area.
Oh, wonderful!
So it is one that I just typically love to go up there and cook.
Yeah.
Another great thing, like I'd mentioned too a while ago, with the teams, as far as the competition goes, it is what I jokingly say, it's a family reunion spoiled by turn-ins, so we end up with nieces and nephews, my mother, God love my mother to death. She comes out to as many competitions as she can. My Uncle Tom, he comes out, has to sample all the ribs before they go into the turn-in box. So he's got a position with us too. And all of Donnie's kids on there, they're out there as well. On there, they come out and just have a blast with us and a good time. And we always have an extra drum, so there's always something good going on the drum.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's wonderful though of what we can do, in the barbecue world, as far as causes, charities, hospitals, first responders, things like that. I know you had mentioned the Shriners earlier, and we have an event every year up in Hiram, Maine, which is a Shriners event. It's the Cora Cares ride-in, and that's benefits the Shriners hospitals. And I cooked it for the first time this past July, and it was different. It was KCBS sanctioned and everything,
Right.
but what it was for, with the Shriners and all that, and they had a lot of the kids there that are patients, and they all cooked the kids queue with us. So the smiles on their faces
Yes.
and the excitement of walking up their own turn-in box and turning it in themselves. It didn't matter if you finished
And
first or dead ass last. The To see those kids and what what you raised money for, um, is what it was all about.
yeah.
They actually do a People's Choice. No, is it a People's Choice? They had a People's Choice, but I'm sorry, it was a rib shootout on
Hmm.
Saturday,
Gotcha.
and all the teams um kick in $100, and everybody gets 3 racks of ribs. So you do your turn-ins, a turn-in box for that, but then you save all the rest of the 3 racks of ribs.
Gotcha.
And they do a giant rib auction
Oh, wow.
of all the teams there, and all the money raised goes back to the Shriners hospitals. And it was, and they get into it. You got to So basically, you turn in your 6 to 8 bones. So basically, you got 2.5 racks of ribs left over. Minimum that each team went for $200 in the auction.
That's
So the
great.
lowest you were getting was 200, and they just went up from there. And it was just a wonderful event. Wonderful event. Kathy and Tom, they do a great job organizing that one with the Nebs in the New England area. But yeah, it's that giving back through what we love makes everything worthwhile.
Yeah. My good buddy Rome always said it's smoking with a passion, and I think that pretty well hits it right on the money, because there's no paycheck and there's no trophy that will reward you as much as seeing a child that's having trouble look up at you and smile, um, on there. So it's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, here it is right here. Daddy Dutch. Johnny's Kids Q kid beat Johnny in the Masters series. Damn right he did. Damn right he did. He took a wonderful 7th place ribs in the kids queue, and I took what I took.
There you go.
Oh,
Have
brother
you have you?
Steven. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, have you seen the new RCA advertisements yet for the rib cookers of America, and the new
Yes.
group coming out?
Yeah. Two of the guys I know up here have been in touch with them and have all the paperwork. I think they're just waiting on the final word. So they'll be the organizers for the New England area.
That's
So
excellent.
that's going to be interesting. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun too. And I like to see it because we all know, any of us who do competition barbecue, the price tag that comes with competition barbecue can
Absolutely.
get ridiculous, on average somewhere, $350 for an entrance fee. Then the brisket, especially if you're cooking KCBS or anything with the 4 meats or any other 3 meats, the meat costs alone these days Everybody's cooking the Wagyu brisket. So there's another $200 anyway, because you can't show up to a gunfight with a knife,
Yep.
so, but to see something like that, and even like the SCA was somewhat like that at the very beginning. If I remember correctly, they were about like $50 entrance fee. You got your steaks and everything. Then the prices went up, and the prices, I'm not sure what they are now. But you gotta plan this stuff out.
Yeah.
Unless you're sitting on a mountain of cash somewhere, and if you are, God bless you. But if I want to do one or two a year, I gotta start planning now
Right.
to
Right.
to build it up, and get this fee in, and all that to make it happen. So to get something like this Rib Association coming out, it's going to be interesting to see the what it costs. It's definitely going to be lower than a KCBS or anything else like that, but it just helps growing it even
Right.
more,
I
and
watched
it
their live.
allow more people.
I watched their live telecast the other night, and they're saying most of them are going to run between 100 and 150 on there. So I think that's going to be really good. And I think for a lot of uh, cookers as well, regardless of what association that you're cooking with, I think they're going to feed off one another. Those that compete in the RCA a whole lot, I have a pretty good feeling their overall finishes are going to be a little bit higher. When they go back to, like the Outlaw Association or like
Yeah.
KCBS on there, a little bit extra, higher call doesn't hurt anything.
Oh
So
yeah, 100%.
I think they'll play off each other.
That's it. Michael Goff, what's up, brother? King Louis himself is in the house. I know I
Absolutely.
saw Randy Salinas in there earlier from Big Salinas Barbecue.
Yeah.
Daddy Dutch is saying typically $100 entry. Okay. So yeah, that's right in that ballpark, which, looking at a couple of those, that'll be good. That'll be good. Um, who else? What else we got? What else? Did I miss
But I tell you, you kind
anybody?
of touched on a pretty good point, a while ago, since we're still a fairly new team. We talked about Texas Barbecue Chapter earlier, a little bit, and Texas Barbecue Chapter is family. There's no other way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Myself and Donnie come in still being kind of new on there. We're fortunate enough to be sponsored by everybody in TBC, in one aspect or the other. One of the greatest gentlemen that I know is Gabriel over Joe's Meat Market.
Yes.
And right off the bat, within our starting our second year, we had done good well enough the first year, that he started sponsoring our meat sports. So that was a really big help. And then Big Rome stepped in and he said, I got your back on, the Saison and the steak Saison. Then Mad Max stepped in on there, and then Schmitty stepped in on there. And now our latest one is Michael with Meat Apostles. We're proud to represent Meat Apostles out there. And second full year having that. Uh, I can't. Uh, new people.
All right, James, I think your internet is getting a little wonky right now. See if you can jump out and then jump back in. It might reset things a little bit. Let me send James a quick text, folks. This is what happens when we go live, folks. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second. Oh, we got a spinning thing. I think we're getting close to coming back.
Okay, can you hear me now, Johnny?
Loud and clear, James.
Man, I forgot to put a quarter in the payphone.
Oh,
But now what I was talking about a while ago is the way TBC and everybody, has stepped in, to help out so much through that. So, I really recommend to all of the new teams that are out there, find out who the seasoning ambassadors are, and contact those seasoning ambassadors and on there. It makes a really big difference.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of guys from the TBC come out to the events and hang out with us and root us on and just have a really good time with it.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah, all the boys. It was, I've been talking to the boys for a few years now,
Mm-hmm.
and then last October when I came down to pick up my pit in Austin, I was able to meet a bunch of the boys finally. And it was one of those. If you were an outsider who really didn't know anybody, it was, all these guys have known each other since birth.
Yeah.
You would never have known this is the first time these guys have been standing literally face to face with each other, which is an incredible thing.
Yeah. And like you mentioned a while ago, the Texas barbecue chapter family, it's huge. It goes. Joe Tucker mentioned him. He's on here. Joe is a great addition. Wish him all the best with his new barbecue pro shop on there. Randy is a great guy. Some great mentors that I've seen out, in the competition world that have helped me so much is, James and Erica Dotson on there. And they're part of Team Saison with Big Rome with us as well, and just great ambassadors to the group, and Tim Ash on there with Outlaw. It's just amazing how sociable, I guess is the right word to say it, when you start competing.
Yeah.
On there, and learning how the people are out there.
100%.
Yes, sir.
So that was the competition end of it. So let's get to the beauty. Let's call it if it was a beauty pageant, this would be the swimsuit edition. Brother James, tell me about these drums. I've seen pictures, like I said. I've seen Sean Hogan's, the one you did just within the past few months for him. Right. Mad Max's. Then through your social media, I saw a bunch more. What made you, or what led you to go with cooking on the drums and then building custom drums for folks?
Well, that going back to what we were cutting up about a while ago about the first competition out at the drag strip, from out here. The smoker that we were cooking on was a big 500-gallon offset, and being still so new into it, I just had a little Oklahoma Joe's backyard offset that I've cooked with for a long time. Probably got 4 fireboxes that I've gone through on that thing. Well, at the competition, having to get up at midnight, 1:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning to feed that big offset smoker. And then I look a couple of booths down, and there's guys down there cooking on the drums that sleep till 7 o'clock in the morning. They get up out there and fix their breakfast. I mean, absolutely no hurry to do anything, and get the drums up and going and cut up and visit. I'm like, that looks like a lot more fun than sleeping out in a lawn chair out here by the smoker. So the first drum that I built was what I jokingly called our Patriot drum. And if it's a beauty swimsuit competition, this was like a 1900s, full length swimsuit with legs in it. It was just a 55-gallon feed barrel that I cleaned out, burned out, sanded on there. And all of the fittings on it were strictly plumbing fittings. There were no factory fittings, on that drum whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And, I took that to a competition once I got it ready. And I said, we got the big smoker, but I'm going to tinker around a little bit, just cooking on the drums. And at that competition, it was my job to do the chicken. So I cooked the chicken on the drum and got my first walking chicken. And, I was like, well, maybe there is something to these. So for a while, I started building more and more drums on the old 55-gallon, rib side drums on there, and started selling a few, Rome, Max, Schmitty, or maybe not Max, but I know Schmitty and Rome have some of the original barrels. So does my wife. That's what she cooks on, is the originals. And, I noticed everybody was stepping up to the smooth side drums. So I wanted the social media pages. I said, anybody know where I can get smooth side drums? I want to step up my game a little bit. Mm-hmm. Got a real good contact to somebody that I've grown to admire as well on there, and it's Mr. Stephen Powell. Stephen runs Ugly Drums Texas, and so many of the states out there actually have an ugly drum hub, for people that are willing to help you.
Yeah.
And, I got in touch with Steve and I said, can I come out and buy some drums from you? And he said, yeah. He said, do you cook too? And I said, yes, sir. I said, we're still new in competition, but doing pretty good, starting to get there. And he said, well, bring all your meats. And he said, come on out and we'll do a crash course on drums and cooking.
Oh, tremendous.
So, yeah. And he still does it to this day. He's located out in Weatherford, Texas, about an hour on the other side of Fort Worth. But you can get in touch with him. You can go out there and he will actually teach you how to build your own drum right there on site. You do all the work. He's got all the parts there, and the only thing he charges is for the parts on there. And, while you're building your drum, if you want to learn, say you're not a competitive cook and you want to learn how to cook brisket, he will sit there and he'll have you bring your own brisket through there, and he'll walk you through the whole steps. So after I finished that, doing that lesson with Stephen, our competitive game started picking up, and the quality of our drums started picking up. I started using fewer hardware store and lumber store parts, and started going more with the factory ugly drum type products.
Yeah.
And there's so many great drum makers out there. One thing that I truly do, Johnny, is all of my drums, I'm not a big process company that turns out a whole lot on there. I take my time and I build every single drum by hand, of course, specifically to what the customer's looking for. So that's one of the reasons I think that the drums turn out so well is, I spend time talking to my customers, finding out what they're into. Do you like NFL teams, NBA teams on their family? What's your passion and, favorite colors and stuff. And that's what I try to build the drums from. Some of the drums on there, it's hard to let them go. I don't want them to leave the drum shop on there. Once again, I couldn't do it without my wife. as well. My wife gets out there and, she helps me climb in the drums. I'm a pretty good sized guy. I'm about 6'4", 300 pounds, so losing weight, but I'm not there yet. So she helps me out a lot. And since we're both retired, that allows us to go out there and spend time together.
Yeah.
As well. So, and I'm always looking forward to certain things that I can come up with and that nobody else, has. My drums are, as far as I know, the only drums on the market that actually has an exterior water port, in the drums.
Okay.
So in the bottom of the drum, of course, you've got I use a UDS 1440, which holds a ton of charcoal. And then it has a deflector plate. And then I've put that water system in there where you can put a half disposable full pan right there. And instead of opening the drum, because it is so much worse as far as the saying, if you're looking, you're not cooking. Well, drums, the more you open that lid, the more your cook is going to fluctuate.
Yeah.
Because you get an oxygen burst, typically down inside that drum on there, and then you're back fighting temperature again. Well, mine, it's just got a exterior port on it, and once you know how much water, you go through, you just open the cap on the outside, pour you another fresh bottle of water in it every hour and 15 minutes or so. Occasionally, you can put some good beer brats down in there with some onion in there, pour a fresh bottle of beer into it, cook your beer brats while you grilling on top.
Now you're talking my language.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Beer brats and fresh onions. So, but I think that's one of the biggest things that I have. I do believe 100% in supporting small business. So the good buddy of mine at Greenville Powder Coat that does my powder coat and everything, it's the same way. He's a small operation. He's grown very big since I've been there with him. But instead of trying to burn the drums out and sand them and everything, now I've gotten to the point where everything is sandblasted on there. It's a minimal charge to sandblast. He heats the drum up to about 450, brings it out, shoots the powder coat to it, and then it goes back in the oven again for another 450. So the drums are very sanitary when they come out of powder coat. They've gone through it. But my drums have the water port. Of course, they have the thermometer on them. They come with the fire dial deflector, 2 porcelain coated racks. It's got it's got 2 grommets, steel grommets that your probes go through. What am I trying to say? Hold your temperature gauge, your mod on there. Duh.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. But it holds the mod on there. And of course, they come with or without your logo plates, on those. And my wife laughs because I don't ever really charge full price. I'm not sure I've ever charged full price. Anybody that's associated in any kind of a barbecue industry, whether you're a competition, whether you're a social network, anything like that, I cut it down by $50. And if you're military, past, present, on there, if you're a first responder, a teacher, anything, I come down another $50 on price.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm thoroughly enjoy. I had my first drum in the Royal this year, so it's kind of nice to see another good buddy of ours from Texas take one of my drums up to the Royal.
Oh yeah. Now, what's Rome saying? Every drum has its character. Mine is having a beer holder. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All my drums come with a bottle opener on it, and Rome wants me to get him a beer holder on the side of it.
Rome, it might get a little warm there.
Mm-hmm.
But Rome, I got a secret to that one. Listen up. Listen very closely, Rome. Call you out, brother. Yeah. Got him. Got him. Got him. Got him. Jesus Christ, Dutch. These are the boys, James, and yeah, this is why I love every one of them.
Absolutely.
Daddy Dutch's, what's the price for an out-of-work amateur aspiring porn star? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a great question. What are the drums run around? Ballpark.
Okay, for the complete drum on there, and that includes everything we've talked about with the 4 heavy duty locking casters on the bottom. On there is $900 on there. Like I said, $50 automatically for having an affiliation with barbecue, one way or the other. Another $50 off if you're military or, like I said, a first responder or support. The first responders on there, takes it down to $800. And if you don't want a name or a logo plate on it, it's $750. So that's what the prices are right now. Unfortunately, I don't ship. I've been trying to find some better ways, and because the shipping on the drums, due to the size and the weight of them, is very, very expensive. And another thing that I always do whenever I'm able to do it, Johnny, is most of the time when I deliver a drum, we meet at Joe's Meat Market on there. Get them up there at Joe's Meat Market, and I typically, once you're there, you need to plan on spending another 30 to 45 minutes with me on there, because I go through everything on that drum, the ins and the outs, and how you want to cook with it. If you want more charring, because the drums, you can grill a good steak on them just as easy as you can, smoke a brisket. You can pull that deflector plate out, lower that grate down to the bottom, and just cook your dinner out there while you're at the deer lease or at the campgrounds, or just right there in the backyard. So I do try to make sure that there's no questions and there's nothing left unturned on there. Teaching them how to tune in their drum, and during the seasoning process on it is the best time to learn your drum on there. You're going to go through a full fire basket full of your favorite lump or regular charcoal. What I highly recommend out there is to spray the inside of any smoker that you're doing when you season it with a butter flavored cooking oil. A lot of people just use regular oil, but butter is real strong in the olfactory. It opens up a lot of taste buds on there. So by seasoning your drum with a butter flavored oil, to me, you get a lot better result out of it. But when you go through that, you can basically kind of learn how the drum is going to run. With the ports half open, with them fully open. They have a maximum heat, and I think this should go for just about most on the market, unless you go for upscale, high temp powder coat on there is going to run up to about 450 to 460. If you push it further than that, you have a good chance of melting the powder coat off of it.
Yeah.
Which, good Lord, we've all, I know in comp, most of our drums look scary on there. They represent the true ugly drum. Take the ribs off, sauce them, forget to close the lid, and you look, and you got flames shooting 4 feet out of the top of the drum.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. Because yeah, when we had talked the other week on the phone, we were talking about Max's drum in particular. Like I said, James, they're beautiful, and I can't wait to actually see one up close and personal.
Absolutely.
To really, you can appreciate the pictures, and especially with the way the boys are. We've all gotten pretty good at taking pictures, so you can grasp the look of it all, but to see one up close, right in front of you, to put your hands on it, to see the different intricacies, you know, the welds, how the light hits a certain tone of paint and changes, and you know, you still can't get that from a picture or a video. You know, it's right in front of you. Reach out and touch it. And absolutely, pictures don't do it justice. That's what I was trying to reach. Joe Tucky, if you don't scorch a drum, you ain't in the club.
Boy, you got that right. Oh, Johnny, just to give you a quick laugh, for most of y'all that don't know me, since I was little, my nickname used to be Motor Mouth. And if you look in the comments, the VJ McIrish that's on there, that is my mother.
Oh, tremendous.
And you can see her last comment. Loves to talk. Yeah, I got that from you, Mom. I love you.
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful. What is Uncle Steve? Mine was motorboat. Good God. I loved it. I love you, Steve. I love you.
Absolutely.
What would you say is your typical turnaround for a build from start to finish?
Depending on the powder coat process, it's typically about between 2 and 3 weeks.
Okay.
You know, and usually that's me getting everything ready on one drum, getting it to the powder coat company, and while that's going on, I've got another one that's, you know, in the process, getting ready to go. And you know, one of the things too, Johnny, we talked about a while ago when you had mentioned in the competition barbecue that you got to kind of plan up front on there, you know, to know what competitions you're going to. For me, being small company, that all kind of falls in with me as well. You know, the cost of the drum parts are, you know, pretty expensive. So that is one of the things that, you know, you got to look at as well when you got competition coming up, and you got about, you know, $2,000-3,000 worth of drum parts, and, you know, depending on how many orders and stuff you got to. So that kind of affects it a little bit. And I under no circumstances, and I take a beating for this, but I will not accept a deposit on there. I don't feel comfortable with people giving me a deposit to do the drum. I want to do the drum. I want to see the smile on their face when they get that drum and know that they like it. If I don't see that reaction, you know, we're going to talk it over. You know, and once I know that you're fully happy with that drum, then I'll take the payment from you. So that's something I'm a little different than a lot of them out there. Yes, it would be simpler or easier to take the deposit, but I'm just old school, and I mean, a handshake and an agreement is all I need to get started.
Absolutely. And Daddy Dutch. So he can have one ready by Houston. Are you going to be driving to Houston now, Dutch? Or you buying a second seat on the airplane?
Put it in overhead.
Oh, that'll be walk that baby through the front door of the airport and see how far you get. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You had said something earlier on when you're getting ready for a build with somebody. A lot of conversations are happening. And I know through my friend Ryan Newland from Backline Fabrication, he says the same. He does a lot of the same things. A lot of conversations, a lot of phone calls are being had, depending on who it, you know, where the person, the customer is in the country or whatever with him. What are you trying to reach for in that? Obviously, like a personality wise, like you had said, the favorite football teams, basketball teams, etc. Or you know, just trying to get a feel for the person's personality, add a little something that kind of fits the person.
Yes, absolutely, Johnny. You're spot on. Basically, what I'm trying to do is learn the personality, a little bit of that person, as well, trying to find out, because I strongly believe that wherever your passion is, your heart will be also. So if I know I can build that drum, and like for you, if I built you a drum and it had the Pit Life logo on the front of it, you're going to take better care of that drum than if I just build you a gloss black drum, or something like that. You're gonna take care of it. The same, like with Uncle Steve Shake, with his logo, it's going to be a drum that's going to be taken care of a little bit better. And another thing that I'm trying to do during that discussion on there is to find out what your level of expertise is in the barbecue grilling, type work, the world. Find out, are you a rib cook or a chicken cook? A little bit of everything. You cook just once a week or more often. So many of these wonderful people that are in the chat over here, those that I don't know, of course, I'd spend more time with, but a lot of those that I do with, those that are in there, they already know what to expect out of the drums on there, so it's less time, and I just kind of go over anything new, that's going on. But I just strongly believe in that if I can build you something that's passionate to your heart, you're going to take better care of it on there, and it's going to serve you well, in the long run.
Absolutely. Daddy Dutch is asking, do you make 30-gallon drums also, or only 55s?
I can do the 30-gallon when I get the drums for them. They're a little bit harder to find on the secondary market on there. And the best way I can describe it is there's so many of the components that are the same from a 30-gallon to a 55-gallon. My personal opinion is I prefer the 55-gallon. I've built I built quite a few of the 30 gallons, but my wife's and mine are both just kind of, outside covered up on there because, when we go to a competition, I want the best square footage that I can, and a lot of times on the 30 gallon, you're talking about a 17-inch, round grate. So it doesn't have near the capacity of what the 55s have. And for the most part with a 30, unless you're really talented with the drum, is you don't want to cook on the second rack on there, unless you're cooking second rack only.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean, that's what I like to see. Keep it clean, buddy.
Oh, Max, absolutely. And when James and I were talking the other night, when we were talking with your first drum, and I found it a little interesting that both our pits had to be the same color and for the same reason. And I thought that was just wonderful of
absolutely
our mother's favorite colors and the cookers themselves being tributes to our mothers. Yeah. And yeah. Ooh, almost got me there for a second.
Yeah. And see, that's what I was talking. That's exactly what I was talking about, Johnny. When you know what people's passions are and why, to me, it helps me build a little bit better product for them.
Yeah.
As well. I've actually got Max and Big Ron both in line for another drum. And I don't want to go into detail because Max doesn't even know yet on his upcoming drum what it's going to be like. But it'll be the first one that we turned out like this. But we'll definitely post pictures on there when we get it back.
Beautiful, James. Well, James, thank you so much, man. This has been an absolute pleasure. The work you do and the drums I've seen are works of art. Continued success with them. Continued success on the competition circuit. I hope someday to meet you in person, just like I met all my brothers in the chat here. But where can everybody find you social media wise, website, and to get in contact if they'd like to talk to you about ordering a drum?
The easiest way to do it about the main social network that we have is here on Facebook, and it is Patriot BBQ 903 on there. You can look it up and go to our page and follow us. We'd love to have you following us. We try to post everything from schedules to recipes to new seasonings that we're trying. Trying out upcoming events. I have a little class that I'll be teaching here in about 3 weeks at one of our park and recreation seminars. So we're going to try to post a little bit up on that. We're teaching our members everything from backyard to catering to competition. So we have a lot of great people that are donating seasonings and everything for that. So we try to post that on our page as well. But that is actually our best spot is Patriot BBQ 903 on Facebook.
Beautiful, beautiful, and you guys will take it from there.
Absolutely.
But awesome, James. Like I said, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to join me. I had a wonderful time talking with you, and hope to do it sometime again down the road, brother.
Absolutely. Come to Texas for margaritas and fajitas, buddy.
You talked me into it, brother. Man, you really know how to get to a brother, huh?
Absolutely.
Awesome, guys. Like I said, thank you, James, for joining us.
Absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And guys, in case you tuned in late, our thoughts and prayers are going out to John Brotherton. He has run into a serious medical issue. Ryan Newland called me this morning, and there is something in the works. But to please, if you're not following, follow him at Backline Fab and Backline Smokers. Moberg, follow Moberg Smokers and Syntax Smokers for an upcoming announcement that they're working on. And we had talked this morning, and I'm going to possibly try to get all three of those builders on for next Monday to talk about what they have going on. So stay tuned. Like I said, give those guys a follow on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll even keep everybody up to date on the Pit Life pages on what's going on with that. But please, guys, keep John Brotherton and his family in your thoughts and prayers. It's a tough battle right now. That's all I can say personally about it. But the barbecue family and the power of the prayers from the barbecue family can do wonders. So thank you guys all for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you again, James.
My pleasure.
Until next week, folks, keep the smoke rolling.